Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory 2023, the match card and predictions is going to be taking place on this channel here today. As you can hear, the excitement is in my voice. 8 matches to discuss, and this could literally be Impact's best Bound for Glory ever. I'm going to say it immediately, this is a great looking card. Let's not waste any time before the predictions, going through the matches we'll be discussing here today. We've got the Impact World Championship on the line, Alex Shelley defending against Josh Alexander. We've got the Knockouts World Championship, Trinity defending against Mickie James. Will Ospreay from New Japan Pro Wrestling is back in Impact Wrestling. He'll be taking on Speedball Mike Bailey, and I'm going to say it, it's a dream match, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the X Division Championship on the line, Chris Sabin going against KENTA. Of course, New Japan and Bullet Club's KENTA, that is as well. We've got a 4-way in Monsters Ball, PCO, Rhino, Steve Maclin, and Moose all competing in that one. We've got the Impact World Tag Team Championship on the line, the Rascalz defending against ABC. We've got the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships on the line with MK Ultra going against Tasha, Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. And of course, it's Bound for Glory, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. 20 wrestlers will be involved, and of course the winner will get a championship opportunity of their choice for any time up to a calendar year. So let's not waste any time getting straight into it. We're going to start off with what I called the dream match. Will Ospreay is in the Impact Zone. He's at Bound for Glory. The first time Will Ospreay is on Impact since, I believe, 2016. He competed against Mark Andrews on the UK tour. He is back, and of course, well, he's come on leaps and bounds since then. Tokyo Dome main event, a New Japan star, a New Japan champion as well. He'll be taking on Speedball Mike Bailey, one of the best that Impact has to offer. And of course, this match was supposed to happen at Multiverse United earlier this year at WrestleMania weekend. It did not happen. Will Ospreay was injured at that time. We didn't get it at Multiverse United 2, which I must admit, very disappointed at the time. But to know that we have it now, Bound for Glory, Impact's biggest show of the year, this takes this show immediately up to another level for me, because this has got a match of the night, potentially match of the year candidate on our hands. Speedball Mike Bailey is one of the best in ring. I get excited to watch his work each and every time he performs in the Impact Zone, and I've got to say, this match will be fantastic from start to finish. I just hope these two get the time that they deserve to have a, well, like I say, a 5-star classic in the ring. When it comes to a prediction, honestly, the right result for me, Will Ospreay to pick up the win. He's the more experienced, he's the main event level talent. I know you could put over the Impact talent, but for me, this is not the right match to do it, because Speedball Mike Bailey, despite being an incredible performer, his stock is not as high as what it was 12 months ago in this company, perhaps not even 6 months ago in this company at this particular time. He's not your main event tier talent, therefore I don't think Will Ospreay should be losing this match. There is a match that I think Will Ospreay should be losing though, and I think that should be against Josh Alexander, which is going to take place on the Fallout after Bound for Glory. Of course, we do know Will Ospreay will be continuing to compete for Impact Wrestling on the UK Invasion Tour, which of course will have one show in Newcastle on October the 27th. So also excited for that appearance for Will Ospreay as well. If that match is not match of the night, this one certainly could be. The Impact World Tag Team Championships on the line, the Rascalz going against ABC. Now, of course, the Good Hands did cost ABC those Tag Team Championships. Of course, now the Rascalz are the champions moving forward since. ABC, though, did get an opportunity to win a Tag Team title shot in Feast or Fired at Impact 1000. Chris Bay with the briefcase. That gave them this opportunity here to have this match, and of course the Rascalz did overcome Sami Callihan and Rich Swann on the road here to Bound for Glory. Honestly, really looking forward to this tag team match. I think this one, as I said, 4 incredible performers. It seems to be wherever Ace Austin and Trey Miguel go in Impact Wrestling, they seem to always come back to wrestling one another in some fashion or format. For me to give a prediction for this one, I'm going to go for the Rascalz to retain. I am going to go for that. But personally, for me, this one could go either way. And like I say, it's got match of the night potential written all over it. But yeah, my prediction will be the Rascalz to retain. Next, for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, we've got MK Ultra going against Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. An alliance was made with Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz after Impact 1000. Of course, these two are very good friends off camera. It's good to see them working together on camera. And I've got to say, I'm really excited for this tag team match, honestly. We've seen Tasha Steelz pick up a victory over Killer Kelly, putting themselves in a position to get this title opportunity. I'd like to see Purrazzo and Steelz with the gold and see how they get on with it. The only thing is, though, we know it's the worst kept secret. Deonna Purrazzo's contract is up at the end of the year. Do they win the belts and then lose them before the turn of the year? That's certainly a possibility. But for me, I'm going to play the safe bet here. I'm going to go for MK Ultra to retain. They seem quite a dominant tag team force in Impact Wrestling right now. Probably the most dominant tag team champions we've seen for the Knockouts division in quite some time. I think MK Ultra will remain those Knockouts tag team title holders. Next for the X Division Championship, Chris Sabin defending against KENTA of New Japan and Bullet Club. It's great to see that we've got the Impact New Japan alliance still continuing, still strong as ever. Of course, KENTA did make the call saying he was going to be returning at Bound for Glory. We learned later that he would be going in this championship match here, and I've got to say, looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. My initial head said that Chris Sabin was going to retain here. However, I do wonder if there'll be a bit of storyline narrative playing throughout the evening. We've seen previously with Alex Shelley being the world champion, we've seen Sabin win gold, and that would lead to the story later on. Can Shelley do the same? I wonder we do the reverse here. I think if Sabin loses the X Division Championship, then what will that mean for Alex Shelley later in the evening? I think that is a good storyline narrative you can have going throughout Bound for Glory. So for me, I'm going to go for KENTA to become your brand new X Division champion. And let's be fair, Sabin has had this championship 10 times, the most in history, multiple times. He doesn't need a long reign as champion this time. So for me, I'm going to go for the shock here. I'm going for KENTA to be your new and next X Division champion. Next, let's talk about the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. 20 wrestlers will come down. We'll start with 2 in the ring, and every minute a new wrestler enters the fray until all 20 have come into the ring. Of course, people are eliminated going over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. I believe when it comes down to the final 2 wrestlers, though, it turns into a singles match. Of course, the men compete in this, the women compete in it. It's usually a lot of fun, and what we do know is we've had a 5-way to determine who would be the person that would be entering number 20. The winner of that match was Dirty Dango. Of course, he was helped by Vladimir Kozlov as well, which is a fun throwback to have him return into wrestling, come into the Impact Zone. And the person that lost that match, who will be number 1, will be Jake something. So we know that those 2 numbers are confirmed. We can imagine the likes of Jordan Grace, I'm guessing Eddie Edwards, Frankie Kazarian, Bully Ray. Some big hitters will probably be in this match, as well as perhaps some of the, let's say, jobbers of the Impact roster, and perhaps some of the undercard, probably is a nicer term to put it, of the roster will be on this match. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. Always provides great excitement each and every year. We've had some great cash-ins of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet over the years as well. I'm going to predict that Frankie Kazarian wins this, because Impact does want to make him one of the faces of the company. I think that with his wife Traci Brooks being inducted to Hall of Fame early in the evening, I think this is a good placement to give Frankie Kazarian that win. Of course, last year Bully Ray, a veteran, won this as well. So for me, I think it makes sense. Impact could do this. It can build new stars, but sometimes it's the right position to use a veteran and to get them to the level that they want to. And Frankie Kazarian is that superstar right now, that wrestler that Impact wants to get to that main event level. You can see the programs. He's just gone for a great program with Eddie Edwards. I think he's the one they want to get to that next level. If I got my option on what I wanted to see, if I was calling my shot for this gauntlet, I actually want Jordan Grace to win it. I don't remember a female winner of this ever, and I think it would be quite fun if Jordan Grace was to win it, because she's re-signed with Impact. It would give some character dynamic for her going forward, potentially a heel scenario when she calls her shot maybe. I think would be great for her. So I'd like to see Jordan Grace win it, but my prediction is Frankie Kazarian. Moving on next then to Monsters Ball. This should be absolutely barbaric. A 4-way here between PCO, Rhino, Steve Maclin and Moose. Expect all of the weapons to come into play for this one. Maybe a bit of bloodshed as well. It wouldn't surprise you with these wrestlers who are involved. Steve Maclin, probably not Mr. Popular when it comes to this match, of course, setting PCO on fire earlier this year, trying to end Rhino's career, of course. So I imagine he's going to be someone with a heavy target on him when it comes to this match. And when I think of Steve Maclin and Moose in Monsters Ball together, I can't help but think of Barbed Wire Massacre last year at Victory Road, which of course also featured Sami Callihan. This one should be brutal, should be fun, and personally think again it could be an outside choice of being a match of the night candidate. For me personally, looking at this match though, Steve Maclin is making himself so unpopular, he's even calling out Bully Ray and saying that Bully Ray has gone soft. Now, is that going to be where these two, who have been allies in the past, go back on side, where Bully Ray steps up for Steve Maclin? Or what I'm going to predict is he going to cost Steve Maclin? That's what I think is going to happen. Maclin is going to be cost in this match. He is the one who's going to be pinned. I think Moose will not be involved in the decision. This is for a babyface to pick up the win for me, and as it's called a Monsters Ball, I'm going for PCO because he's not human, and I think certainly he could get the revenge here after what happened earlier this year to him, of course, being set on fire. I think Rhino and Maclin can be settled on the fallout or potentially on the following show after this. And Moose, who has a contract for a world title match at any opportunity he wants after winning that June Feast of Fire, doesn't need anything from this decision. So for me, Bully Ray comes in, costs Steve Maclin. PCO is going to be the one that gets the victory, and that ends the beef as well with PCO and Bully Ray. Next, let's talk about the Knockouts World Championship. Trinity, the champion, defending against Mickie James. Of course, Mickie was champion earlier this year. She had to relinquish that championship due to injury. She's now back, and she's called her shot, of course, after Impact 1000. She was eyeing up the championship, wasn't she? And she said now, well, she's back. She wants that gold back. And let's be fair, this is probably the biggest match Impact could do for the Knockouts division for the biggest show of the year. Trinity versus Mickie James. This is a big time deal. Really looking forward to this match here. Does Mickie James win the gold back? Personally, I wouldn't be against seeing it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Trinity, for me, is currently the face of the Knockouts division. I still think Trinity has got a lot of mileage left in this championship run. I'm looking forward eventually to a Trinity versus Jordan Grace program. I think that could be potentially where the gold could change hands. I think Trinity solidifies herself here as champion and face of the Knockouts division. Any question marks with Mickie James, what would happen if she'd not got injured, will be put in the rear view mirror. Big time match, really looking forward to it. Trinity though will retain. Let's move on then to the main event, shall we? The Impact World Championship, Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander. Again, a similar story going into this. Josh Alexander was forced to vacate the Impact World title earlier this year. Of course, he was actually the longest reigning Impact World Champion as well. In his absence, of course, Alex Shelley became the champion, dethroning Steve Maclin, of course, to win the top prize the first time in 20 years. And of course, Josh Alexander made the return at Slammiversary and said he wanted the championship back. For me, it sets up this match nice and perfectly. Alex Shelley says he is the face of Impact Wrestling. Josh Alexander feels he still is and should rightfully be the face of Impact Wrestling, but that championship will decide it. We've seen though, these two have wrestled before at Emergence last year. Josh Alexander won that match. Alex Shelley couldn't get the job done. It was the one World Championship match that Alex Shelley didn't win in Impact Wrestling, because that was his first ever opportunity at the big gold belt. But of course now he is the world champion. You can see the tension is getting to him. There has been friction when these were a part of a trios team in New Japan recently. Josh Alexander accidentally hitting Alex Shelley, but we have seen in Impact Wrestling, Shelley's taken the shot. He has actually hit Josh Alexander with his finishing move. You can see the pressure is getting to Shelley, and if Chris Sabin also loses the X Division Championship, his tag team partner, earlier in the evening, that will pile even more pressure on Shelley in this match. They say it can be lonely at the top, ladies and gentlemen. It shouldn't be that lonely. Like I said, he's got his partner Sabin, but certainly he is finding it difficult remaining the good guy in Impact as the world champion. The championship, the glory, the pressure, it is changing Alex Shelley, and I think it's probably a good thing in this match for Shelley to lose that championship. I think Josh Alexander will regain the Impact World Championship, and I think he'll be the face of Impact Wrestling once again, which means on the fallout we'll get Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay for the Impact World Championship, which I think Josh Alexander will retain. And what I'm going to say is an outside box for this evening. I think we're going to get a repeat of what we saw a couple of years ago at Bound for Glory. I think Moose will cash in the Feast of Fire briefcase. Of course, it was the Cool Shot Gauntlet a couple of years ago, where of course Josh Alexander was celebrating with his family in ring. I think Moose will try and do that, and he was successful a couple of years ago. I think he will fail this year. I think it will be a nice bit of symmetry, a full circle moment of Bound for Glory to finish off the show, and we see Josh Alexander holding up that championship, not just winning it but defending it against Moose on a quick moment afterwards, which I think could lead to a proper singles match at the following Impact Special, which I believe will be Turning Point, which takes place a week or two after Bound for Glory. But that's my predictions for you anyway for Bound for Glory. Just quickly touch as well on the countdown to Bound for Glory. Of course, we have the Hall of Fame ceremony. We have Mike, Tenay and the late Don West going to be inducted in by Scott D'Amore. Of course, the voices of TNA back in the day. Honestly, it was so much fun listening to these guys. Call the action in Impact Wrestling. Very well deserved. Of course, we miss Don West as well. This should be a nice fitting tribute here at seeing both Tenay and West inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame. As well, Traci Brooks, the original knockout, of course, of Impact Wrestling, will be inducted by Gail Kim. Of course, she is, of course, with Frankie Kazarian as well. They are both married. She's, of course, done her stuff in Impact or TNA back in the day, but she's also been quite featured as of late in Impact Wrestling, of course, teaming with Kazarian to take on, of course, the rivals Eddie Edwards and Alicia Edwards. So I think for me, 3 very fitting names for the Impact Hall of Fame. Really looking forward to the ceremony that will take place on Countdown to Bound for Glory. And as I've said earlier on in this video, this Bound for Glory show has the potential to be one of, if not the greatest Bound for Glory of all time. In ring, every match for me, it feels excitement, it feels like it's big time. I'm looking forward to it, but now it is your turn to get involved in the comments below. Let me know your predictions for Bound for Glory. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe as well. And one last thing before I leave you, and this is a test to see if you're still with me here at the end of the video. If you want to see Impact Wrestling live stream predictions in 2024, this is your time, your turn to make a shout in the comments below. Come and tell me, I want Impact live streams in 2024 for the big shows, for Hard to Kill, for Rebellion, for Slammiversary, for Bound for Glory. I want to see these done live, and I want to get involved at the same time. Now is an opportunity to get involved and tell me in the comments below if there is enough interest that will happen in 2024. Check out the videos on the side of the screen right now. Thank you for watching this. As always, enjoy Bound for Glory. I'll see you for the next video.